Lawmakers in Baltimore are considering a controversial new tool to help stop its rising murder rate, granting the mayor authority to put troubled neighborhoods under virtual lockdown. This move would limit the number of people on city sidewalks, halt traffic, and allow police to close bars and liquor stores. Are curfews in crime-ridden neighborhoods a good idea? That's the question. For insight, I want to bring in Ed Norris, former Baltimore Police Commissioner and now a talk show host on WHFS Radio in Baltimore. Thank you very much, Mr. Norris, for being with us.
Good morning, Mika.
All right, so the Baltimore City Council Vice President says the situation in the city is so bad that desperate measures are needed. Do you think desperate measures are needed? Do you think a curfew is going to help bring down the crime rate?
This is the most ridiculous idea I've heard in a long time. I think it's a horrible idea, and it's an act of desperation.
All right, but, you know, to an extent, though, there is a big problem in Baltimore.
Huge problem.
And, I mean, you know, I know it's the whole, you could take it to the broader perspective, the eavesdropping issue of national security, and sometimes you have to take desperate measures. But, I mean, what other alternatives are there? And could this, if it went through, could it work?
I don't know how it's going to work. What are you going to do? You're going to lock everybody in their homes? And for how long?
I mean, I guess that's what they're saying.
Well, it's a ridiculous plan. I mean, I think the councilman has forgotten that just 4 years ago, Baltimore led the nation in crime decline every year straight for 3 years, and things going in the right direction. They've abandoned those strategies and now throwing their hands up and looking to lock up the general public and prevent people from walking the sidewalks.
All right,
it's ridiculous.
What are the strategies? Because I know the crime rate in Baltimore dropped under your leadership. What type of measures did you adopt that actually brought the crime rate down, or were you just lucky?
Yeah, sure. We're lucky in New York. We're lucky in Baltimore. All the cities where it drops, we're lucky. We just had smart policing. We targeted the predatory criminals in every city. We went after them in a smart, efficient way, and we were relentless. And now they're just, thrown up their hands. They've abandoned these practices. They're talking about this, community policing concept that doesn't really have a strategy. And now in desperation, because our murder rate, Baltimore is off the hook. If it were the size of New York, there'd be about 4,000 people murdered here every year. It's a terrible problem. But martial law is a sign of desperation. That's not the answer.
Among the measures on the table, police are being encouraged to aggressively stop and search individuals for drugs and weapons. Many critics say that these tactics will infringe upon the civil rights of residents. I take it you agree.
Yeah, I don't know if these folks have ever heard of the Constitution. This is so ridiculous. A councilman has about as much right making a crime strategy as I do of extracting your wisdom teeth. They've got no training, and there's no plan at all. It's just an act of desperation.
Has this type of plan, I mean, just think outside the box here, devil's advocate, has this type of plan worked anywhere?
Yeah, I think it worked in Italy in the 30s. No, it doesn't. You can't do this. It's ridiculous. Things have worked here. Crime was on the decline for 3 years straight. We led the nation by just doing some smart policing and leading a police department into battle.
But maybe the police departments don't have the budget. I mean, we hear about the Democratic mayoral candidate in Philadelphia who's calling for a state of emergency in high crime neighborhoods. Are these desperate measures because, budgets have been tapped out? We don't have the resources we need to get the job done?
Absolutely not. It's a cop-out. And it's funny you mentioned Philadelphia. Look at the cities where crime has gone down. Philadelphia under John Timothy was doing very well. New York City police chief. He was trained in New York. I was trained in New York, brought it to Baltimore. The people that have taken New York City strategies and put them into other cities have decreased crime. The problem is people just don't want to admit it or continue. It's hard work.
All right. Ed Norris, thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.